Hello and welcome everyone to Deconstructing the Construct. I do apologise for not giving an update last week. And I was going to try and squeeze one in after that. But next thing you know, it's Tuesday again anyway. Time is just insane. What I did want to talk about last week, which is, excuse me, for those of you who are experiencing being bait, the last, say, 3 to 4 weeks have been relentless. And last week, we kind of figured out why and saw the evidence of why. As we've speculated for some time, most of this year, whatever's gone on in this construct was an inside job. That's what we came to, that it was an inside job. Everything that we've found that is happening here, that is being allowed to happen here, is in order to track and trace back to its source at home. And it's identifying the individuals who were consciously, actively a part of the conspiracy to mess with this place. It's also identified the individuals who have been compromised, co-opted, coerced, and to use a Star Trek analogy, assimilated. There was an experience last Friday that felt like we actually, through working energetically, obviously, but and actively with what we call home, able to identify possibly as far up the ladder as it goes. And unfortunately, it is someone who, I guess the clearest description would be a respected elder. There has been reluctance, even disbelief, even cognitive dissonance on behalf of people at home. They couldn't fathom it being an inside job. And it's been one thing after another, one person after another being revealed at home, that what went down on last Friday changed everything, because instead of them having to now be, instead of us now having to be, well, having had to be bait, sorry, and then slowly revealing these people one by one, it feels like that shifted with this revelation, and now home have stepped up to be more proactive in following up on and taking action, doing the work from that end. So if you have been bait, that may well ease up a bit now. Feels like it will. There, for those of us who can tune in and feel this stuff, there was a great deal of grief and shock that went through that community. And then a great deal of activity. I have several reasons to believe several things have happened, that something is about to happen that will affect everybody. We're back to not being able to see past the end of the year. It does. I mean, what I said a few weeks back, 3 or 4 weeks ago, that it feels like every narrative, every plan, every part of the agenda that was supposed to play out here over time is playing out now simultaneously. And that feels multifaceted in terms of its reasons why. One, all these agendas are playing out, like I said, to reveal the sources of it, not just at home, but even outside the construct completely. But also because everyone needs to play out and release and their own narrative. And we've got one narrative after another playing out in different parts of the world, even in different parts of the countries. America seems hell-bent on playing out the New World Order narrative. And they're all happening at once. Which bit, Laurie? Hell is coming. For me, the feeling of excited anticipation has been building for 2 weeks. It's the experiences, the dreams, the knowings, all of that are just going through the roof. We still have frequencies leaving, but we've also had one being reintroduced, which is the frequency of reunion, which has just started. Hope and the harvesting aspects of hope are leaving. It's obviously extremely difficult to talk about these things when you have no idea what they're going to look like. And all we've got is analogies and a narrative to run with in order to try and build a picture for us to work with. I do still occasionally, through the computer, and even last night, hear from a multitude of individuals, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Home have let me know that the reason they're not coming through the computer that often is because everything is being heard. Everything is being monitored. The connection between those who are playing things out here, the perceived powers that were, and their support, their backing, their order issuers, has significantly weakened in the last 2 weeks as people back there are being revealed and removed. All I can say at this point is if you have been bait, I'd be interested to see if things ease up, because so much has been revealed. So if you have anything you'd like to add at this point, please put your hand up. There are extremes. There, like I said, every narrative is playing out, from the most incredibly beautiful, magical, and positive to the most devastating. People are experiencing positive physical changes, renewal, youthing, healing. And at the same time, we've got clusters all over the world of people being diagnosed with, cancers and leukemias and all kinds of fucked up stuff. And it's never felt this intensely chaotic and busy for me before, ever. Yeah, mainstream media is starting to put out stuff they never would have touched. There is a couple of, or there is a clearing script that we developed the other night, which is very, very powerful and has made a lot of shifts for people. And I will post that with the archive. It'll be on the website if you want to play with it. Help speed up your own personal process. I understand that more and more people are getting to that place of being so done, so over it. I know many people cannot see past the end of the year. I know that there are blog posts coming up all over the place talking about how this is it, December is it. They're either talking about the split or the merge or the whatever their narrative and their language is. And for me, it does feel like we are literally on the verge of something incredibly incredible and undeniable by everybody. But of course, no one really knows what that looks like. Yeah, I'm just looking at comments in the chat from people who've already done use that script and found it quite powerful. Earl, you're unmuted. I hope. I'm trying to. There you go.
Hey.
How are you?
Yeah, so for me, it's been like seeing weird Mandela effect stuff. Like now the Jackson 5, I now have a brother Randy I never heard of, and he's in a band, but they're still called the Jackson 5. The Jackson 6 doesn't make any damn sense to me. In the BGs, what Marlena was telling me, they had 5 members in their band also. And it's like, what? No, I just remember hearing about the 3 and seeing documentary on
There was only ever 3 for me.
Yeah, only 3 for me. And and also seeing like the Hindenburg change. Like now there are survivors of the Hindenburg accident, and now apparently there were dirigibles on D-Day, like in the air, and like I don't remember that on D-Day. I know they were airplanes and whatnot, but not blimps and all that stuff. It's like, no. It's like, those would be easy targets. Plus, they weren't filled with helium. They were, I mean.
How are you personally, physically?
How I am. Yesterday I was like, my head didn't feel well, my legs didn't feel well. Like I slept for till I went to bed at noon and woke up like at a little after 6, and it's like, I mean, I'm feeling good, but yeah, I'm feeling tired. Really getting tired of these weird ass changes. It's like, but I just get feeling like 2018, we're gonna see some big change, shift stuff that's gonna be like, where everyone's gonna be like, huh? What? I mean, today I seen a title for a YouTube video, about how many, countries are in the world. Is it less than 200 or more than 200?
Yeah, I know.
Quite a while back, I remember there only being 120 different countries. Like, it's like...
It also, there is a discrepancy between official UN figures and other figures, because not all countries are members of the UN, so there's difference depending on where you look. And which ones have been given independence and all of that. So it can vary by about 20, 25, but not that. It's never been that few for me.
I'm waiting for a day where I wake up and find out Canada is a different name country, and I'll be like, what the? No.
I just want to mention...
That's one thing we haven't seen yet, is where a country that's well known that has like there've been some, but I mean like the really biggies,
Oh, just want to make a comment in regards to some of the stuff that's being said in the chat room. Food. I mean, everybody's dietary stuff has been changing, obviously, on and off for ages, but I've never lived on so little food. I don't know how half of us are getting by at all at the moment, because you can take it or leave it.
Yesterday, Ante, milk doesn't taste right to me. It tastes different. Like, it's kind of has a different taste. Like, it feels kind of watery. Like, kind of, I don't know.
I haven't drunk cow's milk in 15 years, so it all smells like wet cow to me. The other thing is the exhaustion, and everyone's beyond exhausted.
Yeah.
Even people who normally are very, very energetic, very energized, very whatever, just beyond exhausted. Including me. We are now starting to see dreams about being on the bridge, going through the gates, being out of this reality and space.
Okay, funny you talk about that.
Yeah.
Funny you talk about that. Because when I had my nap time, I had this dream where I'm shown the plane that, plane that we exist on. But there's also this talk about time. And there's a guy in my dream, and he's like, we're coming upon to this point in time where we're gonna stop. And he's like, well, time moves, right? I'm like, yeah. And so he's like, well, this is the end. This is the end of the loop. Because everyone's all done. Like,
This is the end of the loop.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. Thanks, Rob. This is the end of something. This month. I don't know what's on the other side, what it looks like. Something is happening this month. And it's big.
Yep. I'm gonna mute.
Okay. It feels like everything's breaking down. I mean, it can't keep going the way it is anyway. Look at it. It's fucking chaos. Every narrative playing out, every faction fighting each other, every agenda being pushed. That can't sustain itself anyway, just on a really basic 3D level. But I do believe that the reason behind all of that is because it's closing out and we are getting to this 0 point and everything's just got to play out before it does. Part of it is a purging for us. Part of it is to allow the tracing and tracking of the sources of these agendas. But we're heading towards 0 point real quick. And I don't think it's going to let up. It's not going to let up until it pops. But for those of you who are healing, awesome. For those of you who haven't gone through or released fear yet, things could get very intense because things are going to show up in your life in order to evoke that frequency until you can get through it, until you can let it go. Because that's one of the biggest ones. Okay, I'm done. If anyone wants to put their hand up and share. Yeah, quiet bunch once again. Oh, had a dream where I was on a bridge and there was a camp. Someone was negotiating moving the people on. They could just disappear from this reality. Very nice, Christine. Yeah, I'm all for pulling the Band-Aid off too. Oh. All right, I'm off. What's next Tuesday going to be? Boxing Day. Okay, probably won't. Maybe not. We'll see. If I'm going to do an update, it'll be in the calendar. Oh, okay. Now we've got hands up. Okay. Okay, JJ, I'm trying to unmute you, but it's, oh yeah, there you go.
Yes. Turn that down. I've noticed a couple of things in the past. I mean, I've been noticing them for a while, but I just kind of verbalized them for the first time and what they were and what was going on in just the last couple of days, which I kind of find interesting. I've noticed that there's a degree of how to put it, like itchy kind of anxiety. It's not big, it's not huge, and it's not a single source or a single focus of it. There's a whole bunch of little small things, and they seem to be behaviorally linked. It's like we get into patterns. We do certain things in certain ways, and it's kind of like you get the same kind of result every time. And when there's a little different result, the outcome from, you know, whatever normal thing you do changes a little bit. You notice it. You kind of, well, that's kind of weird. Why did that change? And there's like a whole bunch of little small itty bitty things, and they all add up to just a touch of irritation, kind of a background level of annoyance. Not huge, not like it's like slapping you upside the head and, you know, like nothing like that. It's just that there's this added little bit of edge of irritation behind just doing normal stuff in your day. And they all add up to where there's this, like I say, this kind of gentle, not gentle, but this non-critical, non-in-your-face, non-like, you know, pay attention to me, but this kind of little bit of irritation in the background. And it's not just me. I've mentioned this to other people, and they've kind of reiterated it as well. So it's not just a phenomena that I've noticed.
Are you talking about being aggravated and having? Sorry, JJ.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about just being aggravated at having to do these things that you always do, the mundane, the repetitive, or that the outcome is not quite as expected?
The outcome is a little odd. It's nothing. It's like you go to fill a glass of water and you spill a bunch, and you never spill any. You walk along and you bump into something, and you don't normally do that. You get nudged by the dog in a way you haven't done before. It's nothing major in any one thing, but it's accumulation. It's like a whole bunch of them.
Those examples are all spatial awareness stuff or physical. Okay. Because that's been going on. I've seen that not just inside this house, but elsewhere. And people commenting like, this feels like a different body, like I've had a growth spurt. You know, that sort of, the body just feels like it's different, and they've got to get to know how to use it all over again. So they are clumsy, or their spatial awareness is off or something. Are you talking about those sort of things?
Yeah, those are some of them, but there's also the difference in the way that the stuff that I interact with comes back at me. It's not just how I interact with it, it's how it interacts with me. It's like you go flip on a light switch and it fails. You have to change the light switch. It just, for out of the reason, it just dies. You walk into the bedroom and you flip up the sheets, and the whole bed's torn asunder because the dog got in there and started playing with it or whatever. It's some of the stuff that I do directly, but it's also some of the stuff that comes back at me that I would interact with, comes back slightly askance. And it's like, say, it's no one thing is that big of a deal. Normally you'd slough it off. You just go, well, okay, that's just not a big deal. But it's the accumulation. It's there over and over and over from all these different quadrants, from all these different sources. All these normal, usual patterns are changing just ever so slightly. And to me, it gets my attention because I pay attention to patterns, to the similarity and the dissimilarity between normal events, normal just day-to-day kind of stuff. And I'm seeing shifts in those patterns in a variety of ways. Yes, some of them like might be my acuity or mobility or whatever, but also in the stuff that I interact with, it's changing as well. And that's what's sort of interesting, is it's not coming from just a source. It's not just personal. It's not just apersonal. It's not just stuff. It's all of it.
Yeah.
That's what I find kind of fascinating. And it's like I say, it just adds this low level kind of like, okay, what's going to happen next? You know, like, okay, you got to pay attention more to this, you know, because it might go sideways over there and you don't want it to do. It's just little small, it's like an itch that you can't really describe where it is, but you kind of want to scratch it, but you can't because you can't find it, but you know it's there. It's that underlying kind of stuff that just gets your attention and kind of goes ding 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 ding, rattles your cage a little bit, but not bad, just enough to get your attention.
So what do you think it means?
Yeah. Well, if I were to extrapolate like crazy, and that usually means it's probably, you know, missing the mark. The basic foundation of our reality is showing signs of shifting, changing, of folding back, of feeding back to us that not everything's the way it used to be. It's not, there is a change. It's subtle and seems to be pervasive. Although I can't say that any of that is absolutely true. It feels like it. It feels like a lot of the stuff that we just take for granted, like you pour a glass of water and, oh, wait a minute, there's a bug in my water now. I mean, what? What? You know, it's that kind of little pings. And there's a bunch of them. So it's like, and I suppose that the lesson at this point is don't take everything for granted. Don't just assume that everything's going to be the way it was, because even these little level of stuff, but I don't think it's going to stop.
Is that another way of saying up against the wall of normal? Breaking through normal?
That's a good way of putting it. Up against the wall and pushing on it hard enough to where you can see the other side and it's pushing back. There's an interaction with the wall, whereas before it was just a wall and you push on it, you hit it, and you know you smack up against something solid. Well, now it's giving a little bit. So yeah, I
think everybody's normal is about to get a real shakedown.
Oh yeah.
So, thank you.
And it's like, it's the little things. It's the little things that I'm seeing that are showing up first, are making their presence known first. Not the big stuff, not the stuff that smacks you upside the head and you go, what the hell was that? And you look around and you go, oh.
That point. It may well get to that point depending on the person, because I have a feeling those who are, say, very routine based, very let's say stuck in their ways, perhaps. It may be shake them up and smack them upside the head.
Yeah.
Because they're probably ignoring the little things and fighting against in order to maintain their routine. But all the frequencies that we've been detecting as leaving, we've all got opportunities to release them and let them go. And if we don't take the subtle ones, they are getting stronger and stronger, even to the point of being diagnosed with an illness and given weeks to live. You can make it that hard on yourself if you want. Your call. You don't have to, though. And with new ones coming in, starting to come in anyway, it is going to shake everything up. It is going to turn our normal upside down. And if your normal hasn't been turned upside down in the last 12 months, then we're not living in the same reality anyway. But I can't, and there's a lot of fluff I could go on with about it, but there's really no point. Bottom line for me is something is happening, it's already happening, and it's building to something happening that is undeniable for everybody. And it feels this close. Like before the end of the year. So, JJ, I've got one more person with their hand up. Thank you for that. Robert, you're unmuted.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks. I just wanted to share something I was doing as we're listening to you, and I did a pendulum on myself, and I've never had it swing so seriously, positively, that I'll be in a new timeline in January 2018. And I even did it again a few minutes ago. After that, I waited about 10 minutes. I did it again. And the swing was just as powerful. I just wanted to share that. I put it in the chat line there, but I just wanted to share that with everybody else that missed it.
While you're sitting there, how do you feel about doing one for everyone? Will everyone be in a new timeline?
Well, actually, my focus has been that ever since I got involved in this work, that the whole planet goes there, but I'll do one now.
So for you, that does mean everyone?
Well, I was a little selfish on that request earlier, but I'll just do another.
Thanks. There is a lot of talk around December 21, 22, 23. I see that.
I'm just doing a general, and it's even more out of control. It's really very positive, like I've never seen before, that we'll all be in a new timeline. And I'm using January 2018 as a base. It's just going crazy. I've never seen it do this before.
Awesome.
Anything else.
I mean, this excited anticipation.
On camera? Put my camera on and watch it. Put my camera on and watch it.
Okay. This excited anticipation I'm talking about, it's like a 20 cups of coffee kind of buzz. And it's been there for weeks.
You got the camera?
Do you? Oh, you can put it on. Do you know how?
Is it start video? Is it? What do I click? Start video?
Yep.
Should be there.
It's coming. Yep. There we go.
It's about as violent as it can get with the weight of the stone.
That's awesome.
I've never seen anything this positive in my life. And I'm not moving my hand. You can even see that.
Mm.
So I just wanted to share.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, we've got Vicky. Not even slightly down. Hey, Vicky. You're unmuted. Vicky, you're unmuted. Nope. Okay, you don't want to be? I'll put your hand down then. Okay. Thank you, Robert. That was awesome. Might see you next week. If you celebrate Christmas, have a good one, or anything else that happens at that time. Bye, Rosie. See you next week, maybe. And have a good week, either way. Bye for now.